Three Ships is a line of natural, vegan, and cruelty-free skincare products. We're based out of Toronto, Ontario, and we were launched in March of 2017 by myself and my co-founder, Connie Lowe. Initially with the frustration that natural beauty was too expensive and too misleading, and we had a lot of products that we just didn't work, or a lot of products we just couldn't afford. So those were the two issues that we set out to address. Have raised $1.4 million in external capital during a seed round last year, and we're carried at hundreds of retailers across Canada and the US, including The Bay, Indigo, Holt Renfrew, Target, and Whole Foods. So we do have two products through BDC. We have a 5-year fixed term loan that we use to fund a purchase order in the very, very early days of our business, which of course was hugely instrumental to us getting our name out there. Oftentimes cash flow for product-based businesses can be a real issue because your payment terms are never very favorable from your vendors, and because you're just getting set up with your suppliers, they're requiring that you pay at least 50% upfront before we've even gotten paid from our customers. Right. So that was the initial product that we got through BDC, and then we just got an expansion loan from them earlier this year of $250,000 as well, which we use to fund purchase orders as well. So I don't even think that we've dipped into it yet, but it's there as like a reserve essentially in case we need it. Real launching pad allowed us to get so much more awareness, especially across Canada and the US, since when you're first getting started, marketing budgets aren't very large. So our main way of marketing was through subscription boxes or retailers, which are then really cash intensive because you have to pay for the inventory up front. So yeah, without these two term loans, I'm not sure that we would have been able to grow as quickly as we have.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us, you mentioned Alex Burtok, your account manager with BDC. Is I know BDC prides themselves in being the bank of entrepreneurs, and a lot of times that means there's like a real human that you can interact with, that understands your business and sort of, almost like an extension of your team, so to speak. So tell us about Alex, and I'm not sure if he was involved. I'm not sure if he was involved in both deals or just the first one.
He was.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we were actually his first deal at BDC back when we got our first term loan, which is just so crazy. So both him and I were really young and excited, and I felt so relieved to have BDC as a partner. It is a person-to-person relationship. So Alex knows us very, very well. Him and I still meet up every few months, especially pre-COVID, to grab coffees together and to just catch up. He's very passionate about what we do, knows a lot about the business, more than just what a transactional person would be like. So it feels much more like a relationship for us. He's constantly inviting us to different events that would be helpful for us that BDC is sponsoring. And it's just nice to know that you have your support from the banker, which has not really been my experience with the big banks. Especially when you're first getting started, most bankers view you as very much a transactional relationship, and it's impossible to even really get matched with an account manager when you're first getting going. So I really appreciate that aspect of BDC, that they look so above and beyond. And in particular for us, I know that Alex, as our account manager, is extremely involved with BDC's initiatives to support women entrepreneurs, since only a very small subset of their clientele are women. And they're trying to get more women entrepreneurs to become BDC clients. Women tend to be very risk adverse when it comes to taking on debt, even though it's a necessity of growing a business quickly. So it's great that they have that emphasis of supporting women as well.
Absolutely. It's incredible what they do, and they really immerse themselves in your business and try and put on, the Three Ships hat.
Yeah, the Three Ships hat, and be like, okay, where are you getting hung up? How can I help? What are some new doors that I can help open for you? Yeah, it's really amazing. I've referred a number of entrepreneurs to BDC and to Alex, just because oftentimes within the first 2 to 3 years, especially starting your business, and in particular when you're sub 5 million in revenue, which is the majority of female-run companies, it's very hard to get the attention and to get appropriate lines of credits from your traditional banks. So BDC is a great fill-in when you're between that $500,000, $1 million range up to $5 million, but they're able to provide you with these products that the big banks can't. So I think it's like instrumental. Their interest rates are really, really good, way better than you'll find in these other loan platforms online, or loan sharks that charge you like, pretty much the same rate as credit cards. So it's an incredible service that I wish more founders would take advantage of.
Absolutely. Hey, you've been a member of Barter Pay for probably 2.5 years or so?
2 years, yeah, around that, I think.
And we met because you were sitting on some idle inventory when you were doing a rebrand to your new product line there, and you had some older stock. Still great inventory, great products. It's just the old brand and old label. So tell us about BarterPay, your experience with BarterPay, and how you've been able to leverage that inventory to get the full value, in barter credits, and then use that. It looks like, I looked on your account, it looks like you've been using a lot of it for printing and marketing.
Printing,
printing is a big thing.
Yeah, printing is huge for us, as well as SEO services and like gifts, like flowers, fresh flowers to be sent to like either team members that are going through a hard time or vendors that we're really wanting to impress or buyers. So it's been awesome for us to be able to turn idle inventory that otherwise would literally just get thrown out, because like you said, it's just the packaging. Like, it's not like the product inside of the box is old or different or outdated. It's just the old branded of like the boxes. So it's nice that we're able to still use up that old inventory instead of throwing it out. We have a real focus on sustainability as a brand at 3Ships. So I love how this means that we're not creating more waste and that these things are still going to use. And so like you mentioned, the fact that we're able to get it full value is amazing. So I don't think that we've paid for printing for the entirety of this year and like the majority of last year as well. We've just ordered everything from printers through Barter, which is incredible. Yeah,
it's taking that sunk cost inventory, like you said, would just be wasted and go, be discarded. Turning it into full value and then replacing an entire line in your budget, which is your printing budget, right? So which then turns into more marketing, and produces more cash paying customers. So that's a really, really great way to utilize barter credits.
And actually, I want to show you one of the recent print jobs that we did through Barter. It was to launch our new night cream. So we came up with the idea for a nighttime storybook for kids. So all of the printing, and it's like full color prints. I think we had like 1,500 copies made or something like that, like really great quality. And all the proceeds from the sale of these books go towards Make-A-Wish Canada. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor 2 years ago. So Make-A-Wish Canada is really near and dear to my heart because I believe in the value of hope in your recovery process. So we donate proceeds from this book, as well as 10% of all of the business's profits, towards Make-A-Wish to support young children and adults with brain tumors and brain cancers. So since this was basically a marketing expense that we're not making any money off of, it was great to use barter credits to cover the cost of the printing, so that the cost of like $5,000 in printing wasn't really something that limited us from being able to do an activation like this.
Amazing. Yeah, it's an incredible story, and tying in the social impact part of it as well, which is just fantastic. And it really just goes full circle with your whole product and being a sustainable brand. And you got a room full of business owners that have never bartered before, and a lot of times people are like, what's that? They're kind of like leery about the whole idea and the concept. But what would you say to a room full of business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking into new ways to fund their business, to offset costs, to move idle inventory, this whole concept of organized bartering?
Yeah, I mean, I would say to them that I hear you. I understand the concerns. I had some of those concerns when I first got started on Barter as well and first learned about it, because it's one of those things that almost sounds too good to be true. So you're like, okay, well, even if I get rid of this, like, am I just going to be left with like these like barter dollars or trade dollars that I can't actually use anywhere? But with the network that your team has developed, it makes it so easy to find things that are valuable that you can actually spend on without having to spend real money. And you can spend this virtual money instead. And it's just great to know that you're also supporting other local businesses in their barter accounts so that they're able to get things for less than they'd be able to otherwise. So it's been immensely valuable for us in being able to offload slow moving or old inventory and packaging and turn that into real value that moves the business ahead.
Yeah. I think I read or saw a video somewhere that most cosmetic companies and whatever don't even label the ingredients that's going into their products, and or even when you look at like North American standards versus European standards, like maybe touch on that a little bit. Actually, the North American versus the European versus actually 3Ships putting the ingredients list right on the product itself.
Yeah, there's a lot of misleading marketing that goes into the ingredient lists within skincare companies, which is just such a problem. They'll basically bury or hide ingredients by putting it into like the raw material so that they don't have to claim it on their own labels. They'll use blanket terms like fragrance, which can sometimes be like hundreds of different individual components in that one list, and that allows them to not have to disclose it. And like you mentioned, Europe is extremely regimented and strict about what's allowed into cosmetics versus North America is quite a bit behind. So in Europe, there's only over 1,400 ingredients that are banned from use in personal care products for concerns about consumer safety and health and long-term side effects, versus in the US, that list is just 30 ingredients. Canada, we're at around 600. So we still have a long ways to go to catch up. But at 3 Ships, we follow the European guidelines and even further. And we carefully vet every single raw material that goes into our products to make sure that they come from natural origin, to ensure that there's no animal testing dating back to 9 years from when we started sourcing that ingredient. We make sure that there's no like child labor abuse or anything like that within our supply chains too. So it's just a really incredible way to be able to make sure that you have real ownership and control over the products we release to market.